Let's go to our a new question. It's from Carly Jane Walters.
Thanks, Tony. Given that 76% of participants from last week's Quanda vote agreed that religious belief does not make the world a better place, does the panel believe that religion's blatant discrimination against members of the Australian community has finally become an unwelcome part of Australia's politics, policy and society?
Let's go to Anthony Graham. You can reflect generally on this, doesn't have to be about
Yeah, I feel a bit diffident about commenting on the Australian position itself, although I'm delighted at the result of your poll from last week, because I do think that people are at last getting an opportunity. It's not just that people have started to think this way, because I think
it coincided with your week here.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think for hundreds of years people have thought this, but they haven't been in a position to say it, and now we are, and that's real progress. We've come to recognise that the claims made by the major religions, that their influence in society is a positive one, that it promotes peace and concord and amity and so on. Well, they've had a couple of thousand years to prove it, and it doesn't seem to have worked. And so it's about time that we gave the other guys, that's us, a chance to show that humanism is a much better way forward.
Let's hear from Lydia Calhoun.
I'm not sure which segments of the population that you're saying that the religions
discriminates against. Actually, do you have anyone in mind when you say that religion discriminates against people?
For example, adults trying to plan their families, so around issues of abortion, the use of contraception, gay and lesbians not having the same rights as everyone else with regard to marriage, the people in the church who aid and abet those pedophile sex pests who molest our children. Should I continue?
Well,
Lydia.
Well, you know, I look at this from the perspective of being very thankful that I live in a secular country, because I was born in a country, Egypt, where religion has a very dominating role in society and in government. And I happen to be a believer, a Coptic Christian, and as a Christian minority in Egypt, we had often been the target of persecution by government, by the majority Muslim population there. So I'm very thankful to live in a country and grow up in a country in the United States where it's secular, and to live currently right now in a country where it is. And I think that that's the thing. That's the important part of it. People are free to believe what they want to believe, as long as religion doesn't impinge on government and on what and directs people what to believe. I think really that's the key issue. You know, so I'm very thankful that we do live in a society where people are free to think what they want to think, and everyone has the chance to do that.
Let's hear from Chris Pine on this subject.
Well, I largely agree with Lydia on the subject. I do believe that the Christian religion has been a force for good in our society and in the Western world. I think the Catholic Church I think the Catholic Church has by and large been a force for good for 2,000 years. And I accept that not every institution is perfect. In terms of secularism, I'm very glad that Australia is a secular society. Of course I am. I think that, by and large, our politics is free of the interference of church over state. I think that those of us who've been... I've been in Parliament for 19 years, and I've been faced with issues about euthanasia and stem cell research and RU486 and so on. And each time those debates have been held, I'd think about them with all the information that I've gathered over 44 years of living. And, of course, that is informed by my faith as a Catholic too. But I don't think that if your view is informed by your faith, it is somehow lesser than being informed by your atheism or your agnosticism.
OK, let's just broaden this out briefly. I notice there are some hands up there. Keep your hands